Chapter 46. No Man's Land. After the Battle of Ogdensburgh, the place remained a bleak no man's land until the end of the war. Quite soon, however, American and Canadian friends resumed visits, not very greatly concerned about Mr. Madison's war. Meanwhile, Fort Oswegatchie, long vacant, continued to deteriorate. Spafford's Gazetteer of the State of New York, 1824, had this to say of Fort Oswegatchie. In August 1796, soon after the military works of Oswegatchie, or Fort de la Présentation, of the French, were given up by the British, M.N. Ford took possession in behalf of the proprietors. These works were then in a ruinous condition, and consisted of 2 stone buildings of 2 stories, a bomb-proof, a row of wooden barracks, and 3 or 4 other wooden buildings. The importance of this spot seems to have been discovered at an early day, and the garrison kept there so long by the British was designed as well to protect the trade of the St. Lawrence as to form a military post in the line of authority and preparation. The old fort or garrison, in later times called Oswegatchie, was at the mouth of that river, an ancient fortress, but of what date I do not learn. On some old French maps of about 1740, I find it called Fort La Présentation. Canadian Colonel MacDonell had a startling explanation for the continued absence of American troops at Ogdensburgh. General James Wilkinson had decided upon again attempting to carry Prescott on the 7th January, 1814, which he justly states would have cut off all communication between Montreal and Kingston, and he might have said all Upper Canada. But this general was peremptorily interdicted to make the attack, from, I have no doubt, certain motives of the private interests of a very influential individual in the States, a point which in fact I understand much better than General Wilkinson did, having myself called these motives into play. I need not explain them here, more than to say that to those motives alone Britain was indebted advantage of a perfectly undisturbed and free navigation of the St. Lawrence during the whole of the remainder of the war from 22nd February 1813. In all probability, not one boat would have been permitted to pass if the enemy had not been driven out of Ogdensburgh.